Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing Five Nights at Freddy's, directed by Emma Tammy and starring Josh Hutcherson, Matthew Lillard, Elizabeth Lail, and Piper Rubio. Based on the small but hugely successful video game of the same title, Josh Hutcherson's character is left with no choice but to become the security guard of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where the animatronics seem to have a mind of their own. Now, before we dive into the movie, I think it's quite fair to let you know how I feel about the games. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't get the hype with these games at all. I played the first one and I didn't complete it. I think I got to like the third night and just sort of gave up with boredom. And then I also played the second one, which I actually thought was somehow worse. And again, didn't finish it. Got too bored with it. And I think a lot of it stems from the fact that I did actually used to be a security guard, and I absolutely hated that job. So I don't really want to pay money to play a game where I have to do my actual job. And equally, I just never found the animatronics scary. I'm just not really scared of mannequins and dolls or anything like that. I'm quite aware they're lifeless. I wish I could turn the camera and show you, but I literally have a Jack and Sally figurine hanging up in my lounge. I don't think I'd do that if I was scared of things like animatronics. Trust me, it's the other way around in this house. The ghosts are scared of me. But despite my feelings towards the game, I will try my very best to be fair to this movie. And you might be surprised to hear that I actually do have some positives to say. I know, I'm just as shocked as you are. And the biggest positive I can say is that it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. I know that seems cheap and it seems a little bit unfair, but it's true. I was expecting to absolutely hate every second of this and feel like it was going to be torture and I couldn't wait for it to end. And it wasn't. It was tolerable at best, at least for the first hour. I might not have been overly engaged with it, but I didn't find it to be hateful either. It was just very And I will say this, I do think the game is very well represented, at least from what I know about it. I did recognise the odd Easter egg here and there. I think on other occasions they were making references and maybe I didn't get those ones. But yeah, I picked up a few here and there and I thought they managed to recreate the animatronics fantastically. They were probably the strongest aspect of this film. It's very like for like in small details and I have to give a lot of praise for that. But unfortunately, that really is all of the praise that I can give this movie. Despite those positives, it's the plot. The plot is so brain-dead stupid and it just constantly gets in the way of what you actually want from this film. And personally, I think it does an absolutely horrific job of giving these actors anything at all to work with character-wise. I couldn't stand Josh Hutcherson's character. He is just endlessly irresponsible. Bear in mind, I've worked as a security guard, so I know a thing or two about this. He takes a job as a night security guard and purposely falls asleep on the job. He's bringing in whale music to help him sleep. I'm sorry, but you're fired? You can't just willingly go to bed on a night shift. You might as well not be there if that's what you're doing. On many an occasion, your boss will surprise turn up on a night shift just to make sure you're not sleeping. And equally, you're just missing a great opportunity in making him sleep on the job. Because you could have built suspense. You could have been eerie. You could have been creepy. A security night shift can be creepy depending on where you are, and somewhere like Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria would be creepy. Why didn't you utilise that at all? Why were you so hell-bent on pushing this dribble of a plot forward that nobody, not one soul, cares about? Especially with what direction it goes in and where it ends up. It's awful. And yet, it seems to be the driving point of the film. And this one keeps me up at night. Genuinely, I have lost sleep thinking about how stupid this next bit is. He keeps on dreaming to have memories. What? There is a very distinct difference between a memory and a dream. For example, I can remember having breakfast this morning, which was very real. And I can also remember the dream that I had last night, where none of it was real. But not here. Apparently they are one and the same. It's almost like he has superpowers. It's ridiculous. I don't know what they're talking about and I can't believe that they're expecting audiences to go along with this. And what's so stupid about it is he doesn't need to be sleeping at all. Can't he just be, I don't know, figuring it out while he's awake? The sleeping thing screws this movie so much, because it now means that he's crap at his job and cannot even stay awake on a night shift. He's not even trying to, he's actively taking in whale music to fall asleep on the job. It also means that he now dreams memories, which is unexplainable, but it also means that he's now going to sleep through every opportunity that's scary in this film, which therefore means we miss all the scares too. Yeah, don't expect much in the horror department here. There's not much violence or gore. There's not even that many jump scares, to be honest, and the ones that you get are laughably bad. This is so piss weak in the horror regard that myself and Mrs. IMO could not fathom how this has managed to get a 15 certificate in the UK. This is so safe and so bland that honestly, it could pass for a PG. It's insanely unsatisfying. And what I don't get is that if it is a 15, why are they not going for it? I don't even think there's a single swear word in here. I don't want to give away spoilers here, I will tread very carefully, but there is a turning point in this movie, about the halfway point, where this very bumpy, rickety and worrying car ride suddenly turned into an utter train wreck. And frankly, the film was no longer a horror movie, it just turned into Mickey's Playhouse. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with any of that. Cut all of it. It was shockingly bad and it didn't even make the slightest bit of sense. But then again, not a lot about this film makes sense. There's some transitions in this movie that make the film feel jarring. There's a moment where Josh Hutcherson is at the pizzeria and then he leaves the pizzeria to go to the pizzeria. Me and Mrs. IMO slowly figured it out. It was because he couldn't go back in that way. He had to go outside to go back in, but it's horribly explained. It's so sloppy. It's crashing into pillar and post as it desperately tries to get to the finish line. The performances are awful. They're not good actors, and they're being asked to genuinely hold the screen with back and forth dialogue. Oh my god, it's like watching paint dry. I couldn't wait for these scenes to end. I didn't care. They weren't giving you anything. They're just telling you what you already knew. And if it's not doing that, it's trying its hardest to tease a sequel that, please God, I hope never happens, but I almost guarantee will. I'm going to give Five Nights at Freddy's a 2 out of 10. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section as well. Have you seen Five Nights at Freddy's? Have you played the games? What did you think about them? Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, if you haven't had enough of this crazy ginger, you can always click on these suggested videos right here and get yourself lost in an IMO wormhole. But if not, take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.